Alright, this is more of a fun video. Instead of a lot of negativity and whatnot, I just did a little bit of my version of Tai Chi. And I feel like let's do something a little more positive. Just a little bit. A little bit funny, maybe. But I'm going to see how many, but I'm going to title this Some Signs That You're Becoming a Boomer. Or that you're becoming an old man. I think one of the first ones is appreciating the comfort of Skechers shoes. I hate to say this, but you can get all the young folks you want to for Skechers and say, Skechers are so cool, this and that. But generally speaking, Skechers are for old folks. Let's just be honest. Another thing, when you get older and potentially chunkier, as I am, I can say that. You start to invest in insoles more and more. Because you just, if you just have just plain old shoes and you just walking on your heels all day, oh Lord, your heels are going to be killing you. Oh my goodness. And you don't want heavy shoes, if you can choose it, You can put on lighter shoes so you can move around fairly easily. It's not going to say you're going to be running and whatnot, but you got to be more accepting of that. Another sign, I think, is that you don't have the, what is the proper word here? I guess the ability to watch a lot of bullshit that you just don't believe. And you don't have the patience for it. You don't have the stamina, if you will, to do it. It's like I was trying to watch one of those videos from Mia Mulder, the tranny over there in Sweden. And she was doing a video about the establishment. And it was just the most dog shit video. And I've seen that Mia Mulder before, and I know it was going to be dog shit. But it's like, she used Greta Thunberg as an example, saying that that she was considered part of the establishment and was lambasting people, I guess, for, it's like, oh, how dare they insult her for being, someone who supports climate, who wants to curb climate change and whatnot. And it's like, but then at the very end of the video, she's like, well, yeah, she was on, the cover of Time magazine. She was interviewed by all these people, but that doesn't mean that she's part of the establishment. It's just like, really? But once again, that's another boomer thing as well. You just start going off on rants. And it becomes easier to do that. You could probably tell by my videos of the length of them, going for like 15 minutes, because I go off on a tangent and then I'm like, oh shit, I should probably talk about the topic that I titled the video with. You just go off on rants. I usually just do that amongst myself, because I have enough wherewithal, right now anyway, to just kind of be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that, It's becoming harder because I remember I was I was getting my hair cut, and, we were talking about, I was talking about, oh yeah, apartment maintenance, this and that, yada yada. It's like, okay, we're done, let's go ahead and wash your hair again, shampoo your hair. And it's just like, oh, okay. And I just kind of felt like, oh, I forgot that, I wasn't just, maybe that's just more socialization. I really haven't socialized with a lot of folks other than the folks that I work with. And even then, I feel like I pretty much just have to do what they say, because I'm basically just kind of like a helper at this point. Yeah, he lets me do calls and stuff like that, and but really I still have to follow what he says, and it's just like, but anyway, that's just cope for me. Another aspect, I think, of getting older and just becoming more of a boomer in some ways, is just like, you just kind of relates to, the stamina, but also just you don't have the patience for a lot of stuff, and you don't really want to see all the negativity and whatnot. So you just, you kind of retreat into, your various shows that you feel comfortable with. Like, I go in these apartments and whatnot. You see these old folks, and they're watching, like Gunsmoke or something like that, or whichever, Western show from the 50s or 60s. And because that's what they're used to, right? I mean, for me, being a millennial as I am, being an older millennial, being born in 85, kind of on the edge of kind of Gen X, I think. Mystery Science Theater 3000. And it's like, I realize, very lib show. Very, very lib. And I realize that, where they're just talking about, where they bring up crackers and white people bad, this and that. It was kind of balanced out somewhat, but, you could tell that they had that sort of lib mindset, And you realize that also, to me, as you get older. You become more politically minded, where you just see the bias, and you're just like, I don't feel like, unless this is really, they're just beating you on the head with it, you're just like, all right, I'll deal with it for now, but, you know what I mean? So I think that's another aspect of it. There are others, for example, just kind of speaking your mind, I think. And just not feeling too scared about it because you're just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not quite there yet in terms of the job because it's like I still feel like I have to be careful. I feel like they could still kick my ass to the curb. Whereas the guy that I work with, just like, I don't give a fuck. And he's talked about leaving due to, disability, this and that. So while he does care, I think, genuinely about the job and trying to teach me right, he really does not care. And he's just, But that's a whole other issue. I don't know if that was funny or if it was interesting. It was somewhat lighter, I think. At least I tried to. But, I would just say as you get older, you just don't have the patience for it. It's like another aspect as well. I see that the counter is going down here because I only have couple minutes left. I'll go ahead and just finish up with this. Like, you see PewDiePie, and I've heard a little bits about PewDiePie, and I never really watched his videos. But now that I've watched his recent videos, I'm like, good for him. He's respectful of his wife. He's not filming her a lot. He's just filming her from the back. And they're just going through Japan. It's like there's plenty of YouTubers in Japan who talk about it. Sure. But it's not really the same type of thing, you know what I mean? And I'm happy for him. I'm genuinely glad for him. And I think that that's kind of the mindset that you should have. And of course, he's got millions of dollars and they got their own company and whatnot. That Suki or whatever. But, beyond that, you should try to have this sort of mindset. So, anyway, I think that's all I got. See you later. Goodbye.